I'm glad to be alive. That's why we wear safety gear, guys. Welcome back to Freshly Charged, where we have the next generation of the Dualtron Spider Max. This scooter is a dual motor scooter which claims a top speed of 42 miles per hour. But that's enough talking. Let's go ahead and check out this brand new scooter. We've got some instruction manuals here. So checking out the charger, we have a 66.4 volt with a 1.75 amp output. This is a 60 volt, 30 amp hour scooter, so this should take you 17 hours to charge from empty to full. Pretty long time. This is really interesting. The display is so big. Normally they were just having the displays on the trigger throttle, but because this is so massive, they have a big neck to extend the display up. So we've got it all set up, pretty easy. We just had to put on those 4 bolts and put on the horn. But let's go ahead and start with a walkthrough of the cockpit. You've got these Dualtron winged grips that are great for your palms, zoom hydraulic brake levers, trigger throttle, Mini Motors i4 display which can connect to a Bluetooth app, really awesome color across the display, XC folding handlebars, light controls for the front facing light, the turn signals, and the motorcycle grade horn. Along the steering pole, you have these controllable RGB lights that you can control with the app. You also have these dual hinges for the front, which is nice, flops right down, and it does lock into place when folded. Doesn't feel like it's gonna fall out of place. 69.5 pounds, so not too bad. Your motorcycle grade horn is right above that latch. A nice bright light that's lower. This is the same light that you see on the Dualtron Thunder 3 and also the X Limited. Then right below the plastic fender, you have a 10-inch by 2.5-inch tubed in pneumatic tire. It's a CST tire with a street profile. 1,000-watt motor with a peak output of 2,000 watts, 140mm brake disc with 2-piston zoom hydraulic brakes. A suspension cartridge which you can replace depending on what type of riding you like to do most. On the neck of it, you have the light control for the stem lights, 2 charge ports, which are the M16 3-pins. These are great for preventing arcing when you go to charge the scooter because they only fit in one direction. Nice big deck. It's pretty wide. You also have RGB lights on the deck. You also have this look of these 2 lights on the base. They're gonna act as turn signals and also as front-facing lights. Inside the deck, you have a 60 volt, 30 amp hour battery, so 1,800 watt hours. They're LG M50 LT cells that are 21700s. In the rear, you have this nice tapered kick plate. You also have this cluster of brake lights, which are pretty cool looking. You have another suspension cartridge. Moving down the swing arms, you have another 1,000-watt motor with a peak output of 2,000 watts, 10 by 2.5-inch CST tubed in pneumatic tire, a rear plastic fender with another 140mm brake disc with 2-piston zoom hydraulic brakes. The handlebars are going to be 24 inches wide. The deck height from the handlebars is 38 inches. The deck itself is 21 inches and the width is just underneath 10 inches. The kick plate itself is 7 inches at the base and then tapers off to 4.5 inches.
About 7 inches of clearance.
We're excited to check this out on the road. We're going to go ahead and get this freshly charged, take it for a spin, tell you what we love about it, what can be improved, and who should buy the Dualtron Spider Max. All right, we've got the Spider Max freshly charged. We're gonna go ahead and start out with the speed run and see what this bad boy can do. So we're gonna put some GPS on here.
Yep.
Get them hooked up. We have this set to 0 starting effect, which will give us the maximum acceleration for this true speed test.
We got about a 1/4 mile strip here. Andrew's gonna go down there. We're gonna see what the top speed is that we can hit. Let's do it. The display said 47 was my max. Let's check this here, GPS.
Yeah, GPS, what does this say? The maximum speed of 44.1 miles per hour. So the speedometer is a little bit off, but this is hitting the top stated speed of 43 plus miles per hour.
Got up to that speed pretty quick too. I was surprised. The acceleration's not bad on this at all.
All right, we're gonna do a hill climbing test. We know that this is at a 19-degree angle. Yeah, 19 degrees from a standstill. Let's see if it can make it up it. I'll get out of your way. Oh, it made it up it. Woo! It didn't fly up that hill, but it did fine.
Yeah, the tires were sliding out just a little bit, but I mean, if you lean forward, it's not too bad at all. Awesome, so we are enjoying the Dualtron Spider Max. Let's talk about things that we love about this scooter. Andrew, why don't you start out?
For me, I just love Dualtron scooters. Some people hate them, some people love them, but I love the acceleration curves on Dualtrons. Square wave controllers just have this initial punch on them, and it gets my giddies going.
Agreed, I love Dualtron scooters, and I love the RGB lights that they put on Dualtron scooters, like this one right here. We've got it down the stem, it's underneath the deck, it's cool.
The other thing I love about the lights is a front lighting system. It's super bright. It's got the same light that's on the Dualtron Thunder 3 and the Dualtron Limited. Ultra bright, enough to blind a vampire.
And since we're talking about lights, I gotta give a shout out to the i4 display. This thing rocks. It's super bright outside right now. We're having no problem seeing it. It's got pretty colors, lots of details of your battery voltage. It can even tell you the time of day. It's pretty awesome.
And coupled up with that display is a Bluetooth app where you can adjust all sorts of different settings. I love that I don't have to remember P settings on the go. I can just simply log on the app, change the settings, and I can also lock out the scooter for security purposes so someone can't just take off with it. And then I love that this has a motorcycle grade horn. The reason why is because it's great for scooters that go 40 plus miles per hour. You need to be able to let cars know that you're on the road with them.
And I know we keep talking about lights, but they've just done a great job with them. The rear brake lights on here looking like spider eyes is so cool. The aesthetic feature of it, as well as the blinker lights here, and you have some blinker lights up here. They're extremely bright, easy to see in daylight, and just give me a lot of confidence that people are gonna know when I'm turning. I really like the stock suspension on here. These cartridges are doing a great job for me, but we do have something that we kind of don't like about it, and we'll talk about that later.
Dalton mentioned that he liked the rear lights. They look like a spider eyes. What I also love is that they put the kick plate looking like a spider web. I do love that Dualtron has the dual clamp system with the spring loaded, because on other scooters, when you go to pull it up, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but I love that when this is spring loaded, I can just drop it down, it pushes it right back into place of where it's supposed to be at, and it locks really solid.
Dualtron let us know that the charger that came with it that was initially going to take 17 hours is actually not the charger that they're going to be shipping this out with. There's actually going to be a fast charger that brings it down to a 5-hour charge time, so one of our cons got turned into a pro.
A huge plus is it has 2 charge ports, and with the promotion, they're going to give you a fast charger with the regular charger so you can charge them both at the same time. Another great thing I love about most Dualtron scooters, and especially this one, is it's really stable at high speeds. There's no weird oscillations, there's no shakes or shimmies. It rides straight, carves well, and can hold the line at high speeds. There is a few issues that we've had with it that we wish could be improved upon, and at our next up, we'll speak about those. Pretty good.
Heck yeah, you want to try it?
Yeah, I'll try it out.
All right.
I'm alive, so that's all that counts.
Oh my God.
Landed in this hole.
That is why we wear our safety gear.
Yep, that's why we wear safety gear, guys.
All right, the Dualtron Spider Max, we're loving it, we're liking it, but it isn't perfect. And to start out, I want to talk about what I think could be improved. My first con is going to be this rear little hook for the stem. It's kind of in the way. My foot, if I'm trying to put it up on this kick plate, it's like I'm either on top of it and it's digging into the bottom of my foot, or my foot is off to the side of the kick plate. I really wish that it was embedded into the kick plate and just out of the way from my foot. Another con for me is this rear plastic fender. Two things about it. The first one being that this little reflective sticker, it just looks cheap and janky. I do get that headlights are gonna shine off of it, so it helps, but I don't know, it just seems low quality, and it's a low quality fender that it's attached to. This thing is super flimsy. It does a good job of keeping rocks from hitting people behind you, but I can hear it slapping that tire whenever I'm going over bumps, and I wish there were just little reinforcements here to keep it more solid.
The suspension is great for Dalton. I wish it was a little bit stiffer, and for me to be able to do that, it's going to be about a half an hour to an hour job to disassemble the scooter and put on new cartridges. And I'm going to have to buy new cartridges for every single type of riding I want to do. So Dalton mentioned how he loves how many lights are on the scooter, which I agree. However, I wish some of the settings were a little bit separate. The one specifically is the deck front facing lights. They're down here. And in order for those to be on, you have to have the steering pole and the side deck lights on with the RGBs. Sometimes I just want it to be bright facing forward without any of the color lights on, but unfortunately they have to be on all together. One thing I would have loved for this scooter to offer is a top speed of 50 miles per hour, simply because most of the scooters that are at the 2,500 plus price range offer 50 plus miles per hour worth of speed.
Maybe this is nitpicking, but this right here, I'm not exactly sure what it's meant for. It's not wide enough to be a handle. I can't get my fingers in there, and it doesn't have to do with the folding mechanism. But if I'm going to load it up in my car, I'm really just trusting that my fingertips can hold the weight of this scooter. So I just wish they extended it a little bit so I had more grip.
You can overheat controllers all the time, so I would have liked for them to put real heat sinks rather than these plastic ones. These are just plastic. and it's just really for aesthetic. So I like the look, but wish they actually added some function to the look. I would like for Dualtron to figure out how to make tubeless pneumatic tires on their scooters. There are some, like on the Dualtron Dolphin, but all the larger tire scooters that Dualtron makes are all tubed in pneumatic tires. Tubes just can cause pinch flats. They're always having to be replaced. They're not as easy to patch. So Dualtron, if you're listening to this, I'd love for you to start implementing tubeless pneumatic tires on your scooters in the future. Overall, it's a pretty sweet scooter for the price point. We're gonna go ahead and take off and tell you while we ride who should buy the Dualtron Spider Max.
All right, Andrew, who do you think should get the Dualtron Spider Max?
If you love the Dualtron brand, don't want to spend a ton, this is by far my favorite Dualtron scooter for the price point. It goes 40 miles per hour, has hydraulic brakes, pretty portable, and bright lights. Thanks for tuning in. Check out our full review at freshlycharged.com. And when you ride, make sure you wear your safety gear.